Hey guys, it's me again. It is a few hours later. I think it's about like an hour and a half later from my first video. So, the sun's down more. I don't look as pasty. And sorry if you can hear my family in the background, we have thin walls. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about my experiences in band, concert band and marching band, and why I dropped out. So, when I was little, I really wanted to be in band because when I was in preschool and like a couple years before preschool, my Aunt Ruthie was in high school. It was only about a 14-year difference. So, because I grew up watching her play the flute in marching band and all of her concert band, and I think she was in jazz band for a year, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I thought, wow, that looks so fun. I want to do that. So, when me and my family moved, I went to a new school that ranged from 5th grade to 8th grade. I started in 6th grade. Band started in 5th grade, so that's just how it was. So I was a year behind everyone else. So my band director said, okay, you want to play flute? I'll see if I can get you one. Because there was a program where if you couldn't afford an instrument, or if you needed, if you needed an instrument or a part of an instrument, you could borrow one from the school. So that's what my plan was, but they didn't have any extra flutes because that was a really big section for my school. So, after 2 weeks of being in band and waiting for a flute, I was told they did not have one. They had a couple trombones and they had a clarinet. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and go with the clarinet, because that's what my mom played in high school. So I was quickly moved over to the clarinet section, and since my band director was teaching the rest of the class, he didn't have enough time to do like one-on-one tutoring. So he put a girl in charge, let's call her Lisa. Lisa was in charge of teaching me at least the basics, and then I was supposed to gather on from there. She didn't want to be teaching me, she wanted to be out learning with the rest of the class, but obviously she couldn't argue with she couldn't argue with the band director. So she taught me the first 5 notes and said, go along your way. So I just kind of had to roll along. So, in 6th grade we had a pretty decently easy music, especially since I played a lower part instead of a higher part. I was able to kind of play along, and I was doing pretty good for the first couple months. And then, everyone progressed, and I progressed a little bit more each day, and I was very proud of myself. And then 7th grade came along, and I was still behind. And because of stuff that was going on at home, I couldn't practice at home like the other kids, and my family didn't have money to get me a tutor. So I just had class time to figure out what I was doing, which 90% of the time I had no idea what I was doing. Story of my life, to be honest. So 7th grade came along, didn't know what I was doing. I just kind of rolled along with everybody else, especially like when it came time for concerts. We had a concert in December, which was Christmas themed, and then we'd have our spring concert in May. I would get familiar with the music, I would know the stuff to play it, but come concert time, I would freeze up and get stage fright, and I would just finger along and hope no one realized what I was doing. which was very humiliating for me, and I felt so bad for the rest of the band because we weren't playing to our full potential, because even though there's only one person not playing, it still hurts the band, and I felt really, really guilty about it. But I kept the mentality in my head like, oh, I'll get better, I'll get better, I'll get better, it's fine. So then 8th grade came along, same stuff, different year. I was still not getting it, and I was still just kind of fingering along and not really understanding what was going on. Like, I understood what was going on, but like, I wasn't understanding the notes. I wasn't comprehending them fast enough, and nobody had helped me except for that first week of band. I had to learn by myself. And then freshman year came along, and marching band season. And I was like, oh my god, finally. This is going to be great. I'm going to catch on real quick. It's going to be like totally different from middle school. And my first mistake was thinking I was going to catch on quickly, because if I didn't catch on to the easier music, or we're just sitting in a chair playing, how was I going to understand how to get the music going when I was on a field, having to memorize the drills? So, like, I was really, really, really happy that marching band was starting. And I still had a clarinet, and I think at that point I had my own clarinet finally, so I was really happy about that. And so, first day of band camp starts, and I'm just like so excited. And I thought that like the first day of band camp was just going to be us sitting in the high school cafeteria just practicing the music. So I showed up in a shirt that came to about here, a skirt, and heels, because I was stupid. And the senior drum major came up and was like, hey, just so you know, don't wear heels to band camp. And I was like, I know that now. Which was an embarrassing thing for me. And I quickly learned to always have water. I wore shorts and tank tops from then on. And I had a lot of fun, and it was pretty, like, great. We did a lot of things, we got a lot of things done. I was catching on to the drills quickly, which was amazing in my mind. And I thought everything was going to be going good freshman year. It didn't. Freshman year was probably the worst year of my life. But that's life. You just gotta keep on chugging along the best you can, and that's what I tried to do. We played at Eastern Michigan University, I think, that year. Did we? No, it wasn't until sophomore year that we played on that field. But every year, our school goes to band day at Eastern Michigan University, and every year they have a different high school play at the end of the game, because it's an actual football game that we have to go to, and it's just all of these different schools playing along together for the same music, and it's so fun. Sophomore year came along, and it was the same stuff, caught on to the drill quickly, didn't catch on to the music in the slightest, which was horrible, and I felt so bad. And sophomore year was when this year's senior year came in, and a lot of those kids were like really, really passionate about band, at least in my section, which of course everyone in band's really, really passionate. And so was I, and that's why I stayed, even though I wasn't understanding the music and I didn't know how to play. I was still trying to play. I was still trying to give it my best. And so the kids a year below me were trying so hard to help me, and I gave them so much credit for it. And you too know who you are. Thank you. I appreciate it. But once they realized that I wasn't, it's not that I wasn't doing the best that I could, but once they realized how quickly I was forgetting the notes, they were like, oh, this is a bit annoying. And eventually they did the same thing that Lisa did, and just kind of pushed me off to the side and said, okay, sit here and practice those notes. And like, it helped me a little bit. I did memorize a few notes, so I give them credit for that, but for the most part I was just kind of by myself again. And towards the end of the year, when we were scheduling for our next classes, everyone in my section was like, so are you gonna sign up for band again next year? And of course I was like, hell yeah, because if I'm not, then I have to go to the gym. And I don't want to go to gym. You need at least 3 years of band for gym at the time. Excuse me. So like, I didn't want to not be in band, because a lot of my friends were in band, and I loved it. I loved the energy before the pep rallies, and I loved doing the snake through the school, and I still, like, get so happy when I hear a cadence roll, and I was like, yeah. I had so much pride for my school, and it was just fun and amazing for me. And even though I didn't know the notes, and even though I knew that people were getting frustrated with me, I didn't want to stop because of how fun it was. And so senior year, or junior year came along, and things were happening at home, and I didn't have a ride anymore, so I didn't go to almost anything at all. Case in point, we went to EMU again, and once again we were gonna do our halftime show on the field, and I was so sick, like I couldn't. And I didn't know any of our halftime because I didn't go to any of the football games, and the ones that I did go to, I wasn't a part of the band. I just went because I didn't know the music. I didn't show up to any of the marching band practices, and it hurt so much because I would look over where the band sits in the stands, and I would see that rallying of everyone just cheering on our school and school pride, and I felt that longing of wanting to be there because I knew what it felt like, and it was fun. Even though, for the most part, up in the stands, I kind of sat by myself because you weren't supposed to leave your section. And I wasn't really friends with the other clarinets. They kind of ostracized me a bit. I don't think they meant to, but that's just kind of how it was. And then, for senior year, but right before band camp, I got the call that my great-grandmother down in Tennessee was dying, or they thought she was dying. So my mother went off in a hurry and said, watch the kids, I'm going to Tennessee. So I couldn't go to band camp, and I texted one of my friends and I said, hey, can you tell the band director that I can't go to band camp, but I will be in band. I just can't go to band camp because of a family emergency. And he texted me back after band camp, or after the first day, and said, hey, he didn't know you were in band. He thought you didn't sign up because for whatever reason it wasn't put on my schedule. And I think it's because I failed last year. They were like, why is she gonna go back and do it? She failed it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna try. Eventually, it I just never went, and I just said, to hell with it. And I think the school still has my clarinet, the one that I bought, because I never went back in to get it, and I left it in there over summer. So, oh well, they gained a new clarinet. They gained a clarinet, so I'm not too heartbroken over it, obviously. But, you know, I would see them at the pep rallies, and I would see them at the games, and it made me sad. It really did. Especially, like, when I remember, like, doing the snake through the school, which is where we would go through right by all the classrooms, and they'd follow us. And it was so fun, and I remember just, like, jamming out to the cadences, and it was honestly fun. Like, if you're getting ready to go into school and, like, there's the beginning of, like, band year or something like that. Like, if you're going into, like, if you're in, like, 4th grade going into 5th grade, join band. If you have a chance to join band and it isn't too late, join it. Like, I really encourage it because it's fun. Just don't give up like I did. Don't think to yourself, I'm never going to be good enough, because then you're going to have that mentality throughout your entire life, and it's not good, and you should be going out there and having fun and making friends. And if you notice a kid that's kind of struggling a bit, help them. Do everything you can. Like, it might be annoying, it might be frustrating, but they could be like me and just have issues comprehending things like numbers, and you may have trouble just memorizing it. Just help them. I'm sure that they'll appreciate it. And if they don't appreciate it, or they obviously don't want to be there, to hell with them. It doesn't matter. They'll leave eventually. So, leave a comment if there's something you want me to talk about in the next video, or you want me to do another story time, or you just have something you want to say. Like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to you guys tomorrow, or whenever I make another video. Bye.